Mitchell, whatever your name is, trade destinations for the Bears backup quarterback because he got benched for Nick Foles. So my man Harrison Graham cooked up some awesome trade ideas and some potential teams that he could be going to. Harris, take it away.
My name's not Harris. We're going to keep this thing rolling here. Mitchell, Harrison. Doesn't matter. Let's look at Trubisky's future here because there's some legitimate questions about what you do if you're the Bears, because if you had that quick of a hook in week 3, Mitch, sure, you could go back to him if Foles struggles. I think that's a bad idea. I think that, to me, when he got benched, that was the end of an era.
Yep.
That even if he plays at some point this season, which is fairly likely with Foles' history,
True.
I think it tells me that he is not going to be their future. They declined his 5th-year option this offseason for a reason. They gave him one more chance, and he got benched in week 3. Nick Foles is going to be the guy the rest of this year at least. We'll see about the future. But I wonder, Mitch, if you're Ryan Pace, if you're the Bears front office, and you're like, Mitch ain't the guy, why not explore trading him before the NFL trade deadline and see if you can get an extra draft pick for him?
The amount of Mitch and Mitchell that's about to be on this segment, because my name is going to be just absolutely just crazy. All right, so as soon as though you made the move for Nick Foles, we kind of have flip-flop back and forth, like who is going to end up being the quarterback that finishes off the season. You and I both believe deep down that as soon as they made that move, it was going to be big, you-know-what, Foles. But Trubisky, to me, the reason why we made this show is because I think there could be another team out there that might be willing to at least gamble on him.
Well, I think more than anything, a lot of teams, and this is true every year, have bad backup situations. And most of the teams on our list, they could upgrade at the backup quarterback position, so that's kind of what we're focusing on here. So we'll ask you this question. Would you want Mitch Trubisky on your team? Type Y for yes, type N for no. As a backup, yes. I think he'd be an upper echelon backup in the NFL. But as a starter, I'm going to have to type my N for no. We'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. We'll get to some team destinations right after this. Y for yes or N for no.
Mitchell Trubisky, trade destinations. The first team coming up here, Harrison, is the Arizona Cardinals. Talk me through this one.
Yeah, look, this is interesting to me, an interesting idea. And by the way, I came up with this whole list, so if you're pissed off, message Mitch about it. I think this is intriguing for a couple of reasons. One, Kliff Kingsbury runs an incredibly quarterback-friendly offense.
Yep.
2, Mitch Trubisky has physical traits similar to Kyler Murray, so if he were to go down for a period of time, you could run a similar type of offense, could use his athleticism, and Brett Hundley ain't it. Brett Hundley is not a good quarterback, so I think he'd be a clear upgrade there. I've never even heard of their third stringer, by the way.
Neither have the Cardinals.
Neither of the Cardinals, neither of anyone else. They found him at a local Lowe's out there in Arizona. I think Mitchell Trubisky would be a solid backup in Arizona, and I think Kingsbury could actually maximize his skill set.
All right, and I mean, if you're the Cardinals, you at least got to have somebody to back you up, because if Murray were to go down, it doesn't get pretty, as you just saw. But the NFC West is a very, very tough division. Honestly, I think even the Rams could have been a team that we threw in here. I would say right now this is the best division in the National Football League.
No doubt about it.
This is a cool little trade that you cooked up here, Harrison. Cardinals, they receive Trubisky. Bears receive a 5th-round pick.
I think he's in that 5th, 6th-round range at this point because he's entering a contract here. No one's going to trade like a second for him something like that. So if you're the Bears, haven't had a ton of draft capital in recent years, get an extra pick and move on because you're not going to re-sign him. 5th-round pick from Arizona to Chicago.
If you're looking for the latest NFL news, rumors, and guess what? We also make trade videos here. Go ahead and click the subscribe button. If you're looking for daily NFL videos, we basically put out a new one just about every single 3 hours. And guess how much it costs?
Nothing.
0. And
Less
it's going to
than
be for
Trubisky.
free. And we can keep the show for free. We can keep the channel for free when we get more subscribers. Entering today's live show, we're at what, like 192,900?
Yeah, we want to get to 200K ASAP.
Let's help us get to 200K. Please hit that big red button. We would appreciate it. All right, Harrison, the next team here is the Denver Broncos at 0-3.
This is the only non-competitive team I have on here, and the only reason why is, A, they've had quarterback situations or problems for years, and Mitch is making fun of me. For those of you who can't, none of y'all can see, but he's making fun of my hand gestures. B, Vic Fangio connection. Was the DC in Chicago. Him and Trubisky have a pretty good relationship. I could see him bringing him on and taking a chance. Obviously, if you're Denver, you're hoping Drew Lock's the answer. But 2 years into his career, he's had injuries both years. Maybe he's not the answer. Producer Sam thinks he is. I'm not convinced. Brett Rippon, Jeff Driscoll, we know he's bad. I love the boat, Blake Bortles, but come on, we know he's not the future, so why not take a swing at Trubisky and trade low and maybe throw a 6th-round pick at Chicago for him?
I've been saying this for a while. I am convinced that John Elway is making sure that he is the greatest quarterback in franchise history. Let's go to the Pittsburgh Steelers here, where I actually really like this connection. Big Ben, is he going to be able to stay healthy? How many years does he have left? And as crazy as this might sound, I think Mitchell Trubisky would be so much better than Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, I think it's an upgrade at backup, and I think it gives Mitch an opportunity to hit the reset button, right? Like,
sure.
He needs to take a step back. He doesn't need to play right now. Learn the game a little bit more. He still has trouble going through his progressions. He's a 1-2 read guy, and then he panics. Like, he's got to get better in that area. Learn from a guy from Big Ben who's had an outstanding career, obviously, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and take a step back. He's an upgrade. We know Big Ben could go down. I mean, he was hurt last year. I think that would give them a little bit of security if he were to go down. I think I've seen enough of Mason Rudolph. Josh Dobbs ain't it. Why not go get Trubisky? Take a chance on a guy not only as an upgrade at a backup, Mitch, but maybe, just maybe, especially in an organization like that, maybe he could be a starter.
Especially with like a guy like Mike Tomlin, who's been a great player coach
yeah.
and maybe could get the best out of a player like Mitch Trubisky. So we just talked about the Steelers. Obviously, we're talking about the Bears and Trubisky. Both teams are 3-0. Who's going to have more wins in 2020? If you think it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, I want you to type PIT. If it's going to go with the Bears, type CHI. You run the Bears show, and for all you Bears people out there, make sure you're hitting that big red button that says subscribe. Harrison's dropping Bears videos all the time at youtube.com/BearsNow. Y'all are going to get mad at me. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
If you're watching on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, go to that link, youtube.com/BearsNow. If you're watching on our Bears channel, just hit that big red button. I'm going to go with the Steelers. I like the Bears, need to see more. They're 3-0, but the Steelers have been a little bit more consistent.
If you Bears fans disagree with us and you want to go bet on the Bears this year, go to chatsports.com/betil. So for anybody that lives in Illinois or that's just in Illinois, maybe you have family, relatives, and you're planning to go visit them 2 months from now, you can get started at chatsports.com/betil, and I encourage you to do so because of our deposit bonus here. So if you put down $100, you get $100 for free. You put down $200, you get $200 for free. And if you live in Illinois, Chicago, go ahead and you can bet on the Bears. You can bet on all NFL teams.
Oh, by the way, both Chicago teams are in the Major League Baseball playoffs. You can go bet on those right now, and you can place your bet on this one. Over/under is set at 44. Bears 2.5-point dogs at home against Indy.
Yeah,
I like that line for Chicago. I've already put some money down on the Bears on this one. If you're in Illinois, you can place a bet, but you can get signed up at any time, especially if you know you're going to be at Illinois maybe later on this year.
For those of you in the tri-state area, we got a sweet offer going on with Sugar House, 100% deposit bonus. So who likes betting on the NFL? Who likes betting on the MLB, NBA, the NBA Finals? You can do it at chatsports.com/BetNJ. So all you got to do is go to the link that you see down there below. You can put down $100. You get $100 for free. And for anybody that lives in that tri-state area, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, I'm looking at you. You can go ahead and place your bets. If you live in California, Texas here, you can also get started, but maybe you're planning to go into New Jersey, and then you can place your bet.
Yeah, we told you about Bet Rivers. Got to be in Illinois to bet there. We told you about Sugar House, tri-state area. You can place your bet there. But like Mitch said, you can sign up with either of these two companies right now and just place your bets once you're actually there on location.
Tennessee Titans, Mitchell Trubisky, trade destinations. I mean, they did incredible work with Ryan Tannehill. Am I getting too crazy? Maybe.
I don't think you're getting too crazy, but this is a bit of a reach, I'll admit. I put the Titans on here. The reason I did is Logan Woodside sucks, and that's who their backup quarterback is. He was sporadic in the XFL, much less the NFL. And look at what Tennessee did reviving Tannehill.
It's incredible.
I mean, look at the numbers. 13 starts, 70% completion, 3,500 yards, 28 touchdowns, 7 picks. By the way, that's a full season worth right there. He's done that in 13 games. And the rating is off the charts. Like, that leads the NFL over that time period. I'm not saying they could do this with Trubisky, but A, he's better than Logan Woodside, and he's certainly better than Trevor freaking Siemian, who's on their practice squad. And B, we saw them revive Tannehill. I don't think it's out of the realm that they could at least, they've proven they can get a mobile quarterback back on track, which is what they've done with Tannehill. I don't know if they could do it to that level, but I am intrigued by this idea.
So the Titans, they receive Mitch Trubisky. The Bears, they get a 2021 fifth-round pick. We basically said this is the value. If you guys want to yell at us, let us know what the value of Mitch Trubisky is, because honestly, I don't really know what it is. If you're a team that believes in him, maybe you're willing to give up more. For me, though, if I'm running an NFL organization, I'm sorry. I'm not giving up anything more than a fifth-round pick. The last team that we're going to talk about here is the Buffalo Bills. You kind of mentioned that Josh Allen, his skill set, a little bit similar, and I'm curious to hear this.
Yeah, look, Trubisky's not Josh Allen. Let's make that clear. But he's mobile. He has a strong arm. And Buffalo has embraced Allen's athleticism. Chicago hasn't. 2 years ago, they let Trubisky run around. He ran for over 400 yards, and that was his best season in 2018. They haven't done that since nearly as much, whereas Buffalo – Allen hasn't rushed for it as much this year, and that's probably because of his progression as a passer, which, by the way, Brian Daboll has done a great job with Allen. Who's to say he couldn't do it with someone else? I just think this could be a good landing spot for Mitchell Trubisky. Obviously, Allen's their future. He's proven that so far this year. I think they've got their franchise quarterback. But Buffalo has made it work with a guy that entered the NFL, Mitch, with a lot of question marks.
Sure,
People did not know about Josh Allen, and in year 3, he's progressed, and they've done a great job with him.
I get that they drafted Jake Fromm. They drafted him in the 4th round. I'm not a believer in Jake Fromm whatsoever. No. Matt Barkley, sorry.
What year is it?
Exactly. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky would be an upgrade over Barkley, and I still think has a brighter future than Jake Fromm ever would. So should the Bears trade Trubisky? 1 for yes, 2 for no. This is a really difficult question because they've already turned down his 5th-year option. You're probably not going to get a lot of value for him, and he's not going to be coming back next year because he's a free agent. Should the Bears trade him? Sure, if you can get something for him.
They should at least explore it. I mean, I think Tyler Bray can be fine as a backup for the rest of this year. They're comfortable with him. Explore it, see what you can get. Not saying you trade him for a conditional 7th, but he's not your future. Yeah. Why not see what you can get for him?
So here's some potential trade destinations that we just went over. If you disagree with any of them, make sure that you're yelling at Harrison on Twitter at HGramNFL. If you disagree with me, guess what? I didn't make the list. You can go yell at him. Make sure you guys are letting us know who you think could maybe go out and trade for Trubisky.
Who's your favorite out of this list, by the way?
Out of this list, the one that I think makes the most sense is probably either the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Tennessee Titans, just because we saw what Pittsburgh was last year without Big Ben. And for me, the Titans have done such a good job with Tannehill.
Yeah.
Maybe you could just get something out of Trubisky and then flip him and get some extra draft picks.
I'd go Arizona or Tennessee.